and I will give it, I will speak it as it is given to me. Can you begin it again, please? When you entered the church, it was just a hallway. It was just people milling around in a desk. And then you entered the church, and again there was confusion. There were people standing about. There was confusion. There was even frustration on many people. But then you found your place, and you sat beside your true soulmate. You sat beside your true love. And then you felt overcome. And that was when you were looking at the window of Jesus. To say Jesus is holy, you may not understand exactly what we are referring to. For there are many prophets and guides and masters and ascended masters and source that all have and emanate that love. But this is a symbol to you, and that's what first caught your attention. Whether you truly believe it now, or whether it is a conditioned response, you believe Jesus, the Christ, to be a God, or the Son of a God. And let me first stop you there. We will say that that is correct. However, we were all sons of a God. We are all sons of Source. No one master, no one guide, no one teacher is better than the other. They just have experience. They have the gift of knowing what true love is, because that's what they came originally to your plane to teach. And they came with that in their heart and in their soul. So they were more advanced, and that's why it shows when they speak. So when you were sitting there, you were looking upon a figure that was enormous, and that to you represented a God. And that's why Uriel stepped forward and told you you were in his house now. He didn't mean that that was his house. What he was trying to explain to you was you are now in the company of love. That's the house we're talking about. It's not a structure. It's not a church. It's not a synogogue. It's not a mosque. It's not an alley. It's the house of love. And that house is surrounded and filled with beings such as the Christ, such as Buddha, such as the archangels. I can go on and name soul after soul after soul, but it would be redundant. The message to you is to say this to you. The house that Source built is not quite a house. It's an energy of love. It's an energy of commitment, and it is an energy of light. And that's what you saw shining through at the top of the Christ's head. And that's when Source came through and said to you, do you now understand? You are within the company you are within the house of cherished guides and teachers and loved ones and souls and soul families. And it could go on and on. But we need not do that because I believe you have the understanding of it now. The reason you were feeling the way you have been feeling and the confusion last night, well, it was too overpowering. It was too much to take all in one breath. But you will see that the breathing will become normal. Your feeling will be then restored. Just know that the feeling you felt was an absolute, unconditional love that can be replaced by nothing other than that. It was Uriel's message to you how much your guides, the archangels you've called upon, and your soul family love you. This is something you were forgetting. This is something that has been lacking in you. But now we see that your heart is now open. The reason you're feeling the way you are feeling is because you had that heart open and then you closed it. And we had to force it open. And this was the best way that we knew how to show you that the love is there and it has never left you. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask? And then be at peace. Be at peace. Be at peace.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain it.
Just try.
Hortense came forward and she said, "Let me show you something." In response to what you said about if you understand love, you understand the universe. And she said, "Well, let me see if I can put it this way. You've often heard theologians and priests and so-called prophets talk about the crystal palace, the shining palace, the pearly gates," she's saying. Let me show you what is the real crystal palace, the so-called pearly gates. And she's showing me that every time some soul does a wonderful thing for another soul through love, not through want of something for them, not for payment, but they do it for love. And when a soul is born out of love and people help other people out of love, there shines a tiny energy source. And that energy source goes up into the realm. That's what I call it anyways. And it's like a dome of connected love particles. And they sparkle and they shimmer like diamonds. Or that's what they're showing me anyways. And they interconnect. And once they interconnect, they fuse forever. It cannot be removed.
So we're building
They're showing me
crystal palace.
once you fuse together these love particles, they build the house. That's the house they're talking about. The house of love, the structure of love. It's basically every time you really show love, you put out an energy. And those energies find one another. And they're showing me that now because I'm starting to understand more and more and more about quantum physics and the quantum field. They're saying it's called many things, but the quantum field is good. They said because that shows you the energy and the vastness of it and the misunderstanding from man. It has only been lately that they've understood this. That's what the house is.
So if we help other people show unconditional love for others, we're helping to continue to
you're
build
helping to build that house and keep that structure going.
So we pass that on to other people, help them pass it on.
And they're also showing me this is the house of hate.
This is important.
And it's when someone does something out of bigotry, out of hate, out of spite, out of greed, out of wanting.
It's a dark.
It's a
spot.
mud brick. And the brick is placed as a wall. But the tears of those that are hurt melt those bricks. And it's not sustainable. It's there in a muddy pile. It's there in a bloody mess. It will never fuse together as does the love. It can't sustain the natural beauty, the natural light of love. Because when the light shines upon this massive brick that has been saturated by tears of those that have been hurt, it dries it out and it crumples and blows away like dust. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes, and so it shall be.
That also, love is always stronger than hate.
Love is definitely stronger than hate. As above, so below. As in heaven, so on earth. As in his heart, so in your heart.